Yes, yes, Beast Boxing Basement Triple B. Make sure you like and subscribe, and if you want, donate and comment, please. I'd like to hear what the fans have got to say. Now we got a fight on. It's going to be televised on DAZN, and it's Edgar Berlanga vs Padraig McCrory. I think that's how it comes. Padraig. It's Padraig, something like that. McCrory. He's an Irishman, obviously. Berlanga is from Puerto Rico. I mean, he's born in the US, but he's always bragging on being Puerto Rico, man. I live in the United States, but I'm Puerto Rico, man. You know, that kind of thing. Like Carlito's Way. Carlito's Way. It's a good film. That's a good film, Carlito's Way. One of my favorite. I like Benny Blanco from the Bronx and the other guy. He's his, you know, whatever, his man, you know. Hey, man, I see that guy. I see. Sorry, Pachanga. Yeah, Pachanga, played by Luis Guzman. He's like, hey, me, he got a little, man. I see Lalin the other day, brother, man. He not cool. He fucked up, bro. Yeah, he's in the wheelchair, Lalin, the blonde Puerto Rican. Huh? Yeah, who ends up trying to stitch up Carlito. And yeah, I think there's actually a prequel released in 2005. I think I'm going to watch it. It's got Guzman in it. It's got P. Diddy, and some other guys that are quite well known. I might have a look at that. But anyway, we're talking about Edgar Berlanga with Padraig McCrory. And, yeah, it's a good fight. It's a good fight. You know, the first thing that's always worthy of interest is to check out what the prices are, right? We're a boxing channel. We're not no betting channel. Like Dwyer. Hey, it's Dwyer. Just think of this as a second opinion from a total stranger online. If you're a Dwyer appreciate, you know. But Berlanga, you get 1.22. McCrory 4.33. So you can translate into that fractional. I'm sick of it. You know, basically you put about a pound on Berlanga, you get 122 back. You get a pound on Padraig, you get 433 back. So that's 333 winnings or 22p winnings from Berlanga. Right. So, I mean, he's a clear favourite, Berlanga. It doesn't mean that McCrory's got no chance. Some people see it as a very interesting fight with a potential upset. I'm not, Berlanga. Okay, you remember Berlanga? He was touted as the next big blaster puncher. Yeah, he was knocking everyone out, right, in the first round. Right, in the first round, he had something like 16 first-round knockouts in a row. Now, you get guys like this, just Acelino Freitas as well, although he was a puncher. What's that guy? The guy who killed himself, Edwin, from Venezuela. Edwin something. My memory's going, blood. The guy hung himself in mysterious circumstances after murderizing his wife. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Edwin Valero, he was another one. They also had Engels Pedrosa back in the 80s or 90s. All these guys are big bangers. Some of them got exposed, some didn't. Some Berlanga has been somewhat exposed, some people say. So after all these KO wins, let me be honest. You look down. I mean, they weren't all total bums. I'm just going by their records. There are a few guys with decent records here. Especially for a novice. Guys 16-1-1, 11-2-0, 25-3, 15-1-2. These are all knocked out in one round. And Ulysses Sierra, was his last KO in a round. This is a guy that was considered to be okay. But it all dried up. When some guy called Desmond Nixon took him the distance. Then Marcelo Coceres, Steve Rose, Angulo, Jason Quigley. Suddenly, everyone took him the distance. So he went 16 fights, first round KOs. Not just KOs, first round. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Points decisions. Now that makes you very suspicious. Yeah. This seems very suspicious. I wonder how many of them early fights were just, complete fixes. So they could build up this monster. Oh, this guy, of course he's going to get some press. He knocked everyone out in the first round. Oh, he's a killer. Yeah. I wonder how many of those were fixed, right? Because you don't go from that to suddenly going the distance with everybody. Yeah? It's very odd. Jason Quigley, he knocked out in his last fight. And Quigley is Irish as well, a decent fighter, but I thought he had a chance actually. But Berlanga dropped him in he dropped him in third, fifth, twice in the 12th. So in the end, that wasn't to happen. Can Padraig, McCrory, go one more. McCrory's unbeaten, by the way, at 18-0-0. Right. Both had decent amateur careers, but not spectacular. But they had decent amateur careers. McCrory. These are only box rate ones, so that, they will have more. It's not perfect box rate, but these all the fights had to be officially recognised, and they have to have proof of it, and so amateurs. The amateur records on box rate they're a good indicator of something, and hopefully they'll name most of the big fights. But there's a lot missing there. But so Padraig has got 14 wins. 10 losses, 6 wins by way of KO, which is a high KO rate for the amateurs if you're boxing at the top level. Yeah, and one KO loss. So let's see who he lost on KO to. Oliver Obradovic from Austria. Only boxes an amateur. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. He's from the same place as the Austrian painter, but I don't know. He's not as effective as a pro. I mean, he didn't go pro. I mean, he doesn't seem that special. He's fought in a lot of Ulster championships, Irish national championships. This is McCrory. He's never gone above that, the Ulster and Irish championships. But he performed okay then. But that's the level, right? There's only is it 3.5 or a bit more mil Irishman in Ireland? So, he's also 35, 6'1". As a pro, he's had 18 fights. No losses, no draws, and 9 by way of knockout. Now, so that's not a big knockout record for a, super middle, I should say. For a super middle, okay? Because they're quite powerful. They're like the modern middleweight, aren't they? And, does he have the firepower to hold off Berlanga? Yeah. He had firepower to hold off Berlanga. I mean, the thing is, records can be deceptive. There are punchers that don't have, or people that can punch harder than their record indicates. Most, in my mind, you got Dimitri Bivol, who can punch, he just doesn't like to finish. He's cautious. In the same way Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall, that's his name. Blood clot. I told you, man. I'm getting senile, fam. Must be all the punches to the head and the dregs. I'm not hitting it now, but yeah. That's it. Jack Catterall. I called him. It took me 3 attempts. I went Adam Catterall, who's some whack presenter on TalkSport. Jake Catterall. I don't know who he is, but this is not the boxer. Jack Catterall. So he's another guy who can punch, but he's very cautious. So I don't know. This guy, McCrory. Has he beaten anyone super? There's a guy called Leon Bunn was unbeaten. Was he a German dude? He knocked him out 6 rounds. It's not bad. He's unbeaten, but this guy's hadn't beaten anyone of any quality really. But that's not a bad result. Marco Antonio Periban was a half decent fighter on fringe, world class. I think he fought for the world title a few times. Marco Periban. He got dealt with basically. Yeah, he got dealt with by, what's his face, McCrory. Oh, yeah, James DeGale knocked him out 3 rounds years ago. But he'd fought in Sakio Bika. He took to a majority decision. Like, Pettyban had fought at world class, but he never cracked it, So there's no, outstanding names. But he's fought a decent level of fighter. Oh, he knocked out Steve Collins Jr. when he was whack anyway. But, yeah, I mean... You've got a guy, and he's apparently very confident. I looked at him. I looked at a bit of footage with Periban, and Periban seemed a bit shot. He got stopped, and he was like flapping away with not complete arm punches, McCrory, and Periban's chin seemed to have gone. So I'm not buying it. Some people said, "Oh, he's a much better puncher." I'm not buying that really. I'm not saying he can't punch. He's also got a very natural looking physique. which makes me think he's absolutely not on the PEDs. So I don't know what his trainer's thinking, but, because, we all know you've got to be in there. Yeah? It improves your performance to such an extent, and everyone else is doing it, you got to do it. But I respect him for being naive, like the naive Swede. So, what about Berlanga? Well, so Berlanga, if you look at, what's his name? Berlanga on Wiki, which is not to be trusted. I also made that mistake because I thought Mitch Bloodgreen was a preacher, and it wasn't, because it said it on his Wikipedia page. That's a completely different guy. So if you look at the Wikipedia page, it says that Berlanga has a really big knockout ratio. Sorry, amateur. Excuse me. He's obviously got a big knockout ratio in the pros. In the amateurs, he allegedly had an amateur record of 162 wins and 17 losses, which is a pretty good record for United States. Yeah, a United States amateur. He didn't win anything special. Nothing really. A couple of junior and youth championships. Yeah, just all youth championships, but nothing great. The U.S. Youth National Championships, gold in 2015. Well, whatever, man. In box records, a bit less. 23 wins, 12 losses, 2 KOs, and no KOs by loss. But there's, like I said, he's I believe he's a junior here, right, or a youth. So there's nothing there. I'm just gonna quickly flick through, see if I can see. I can't see any names that I recognise, but they would have all been at youth or junior level. So. Things change a lot when our bodies mature. You get me? You get these guys that mature super early, and they're bigger and stronger than everyone else. But then when everyone else becomes an adult, they ain't the same. You know what I'm saying? So, and the power of things weird. How can you 16 first round KOs and then go the distance with everybody? He has been put down by Marcelo Cortez in round 9. That was. So, does that mean he's chinny? No. That's just one fight, but it's some indication that he's been put down. I think that's the only one. So what can you say? I've looked at some forums and some people are saying, he's got a great chance, McCrory, a big upset. And I've said before, and I repeat this every time because it's very important, right? British and Irish travellers just do not travel very well, especially not to the United States, man. What have we had recently? You had so many big British names getting banged up in the States. Sonny Edwards, guys like that. Yard got banged up in Canada. That was about a year ago. A bunch of other guys recently. What's his name? Callum Smith. And they just don't travel well. Even when they win something, they don't travel well. Ricky Hatton, against Corlazzo, he put him over in the first round, and then he looked like he might have lost the fight. But I think it's partially this. It's I think a lot of British fighters are protected in the UK, so they beat up all these guys that are not truly world class, and everyone's like, oh, they're amazing, and they go and fight an actual vaguely or decent world class fighter, an American, and get beaten up. Then there's also, they're not around their crowd. Then there's also, so psychologically, there's also the unfamiliarity of surroundings and gym, and the crowd may be against them. And more importantly, the jet lag. People forgot to factor that in. That really sets you back, bro. If you go for a business trip in America, I've been there. And don't get me wrong, I was sharp, but mainly because, all the septic Yanks were just whack, knew nothing about business. Yeah. But I was still not quite right all week. I wouldn't say I was at my sharpest. And it's got to be the same. When you mean, physically, when you mean punch in the heat, you got to be good, man. I think Sonny did the right thing by taking all that time to prepare, but ultimately it didn't work out. He got face planted. So, what's going to happen? Well, it's not impossible that McCrory will win. I don't think Berlanga is that super. And I'm very suspicious of his early career, very suspicious. He's called the Chosen One. Yeah, right. Same height, 6'1". I think what'll happen is this. It's a 12-rounder. right? It's a 12-rounder in Orlando. And I believe we will get... I think McCrory will give him problems. Ultimately, Berlanga will, I would say, assert himself in the later rounds and probably stop McCrory. I mean, there's no evidence that McCrory is punchy, apart from that one stopper's loss. I mean, but, chinny. But, I don't know. I just don't have huge faith in British and Irish fighters going to the US. And Berlanga will be in front of his homeboys. I'm sure there are loads of Puerto Ricans in Orlando, but he'll be like his home territory, no jet lag, blah blah. He's the promoter's fighter. I think Eddie's actually tried to big up McCrory as well. I don't know whether that's just fluff or whether actually he thinks he can. He might be able to do something with McCrory. What people got to forget with Irish fighters, that even the Irish guys love boxing. There's only 3.5 or whatever million Irish. Let me just check that, man. Because I don't like to get my facts wrong, my data wrong. All right? But it's a small nation nonetheless. I love me Irish fans, by the way. Because, a lot of them come on the lives, give some love. Right, here we go. Oh, the population is 5 million? Does that include Northern Ireland? I think so. I think that does. Does it? Because I think it's 1.5 mil in Northern Ireland, 3.5 mil in the Republic, so 5 mil total. If I'm correct, I may again, that might be old data and I might be wrong. I'm desperate to find out right now because I don't want to look like a fool in front of me Irish fans. But let's just say, I think it is 5 mil actually for the Republic is actually 5 million now. So I've got old data. I think I'm still living in the 90s or 80s. But yeah, Ireland has got 5 mil in the Republic and about 2 mil in Northern Ireland. So there you go. All right, at least we know that. But yeah, so it's a small nation, even though it's got a lot of beautiful green countryside. And even if you're a star in Ireland, when you've only got 5 million people to appeal to, to come and buy your tickets, and that's about half the size of London. Obviously, there's loads of Irish people in the UK, in London, in America, around the world, or of Irish origin, certainly America. And they back their own, but basically, if you want to become a superstar Irishman, you got to be like Barry McGuigan and appeal to everybody and be fighting Britain a lot. Yeah, the Americans would always love it. All white Americans would always back an Irish fighter, but not as much as you think. It didn't exactly make. There's a few fighters there that went over there, and none of them were treated like stars, were they? Joseph Ward is the man. Should somebody make it, it'll be Joseph Ward. I'm slightly worried about his age, but Joseph Ward is a very, very, very talented individual. He did unfortunately have that injury to his knee. My main worry is his age. As I said, it's such a talented amateur. 18, he beat Kenneth Egan. You believe that? 17, he beat Kenneth Egan. So mighty Joseph Ward. So he's got 10 wins, 6 kills, 1 loss by, it's bad luck. He was going to win that fight. It's just his knee went. So he's 30. So it's not too bad. But he's the one to watch. The only problem is his promoter manager, right? Is his trainer's Joey Gamache, who we all know is a weirdo and doesn't know much about boxing. But Joseph Ward is his Irishman to make it, in my opinion, if he does. Now, back to Padraig, Berlanga. I see a late stoppage by Berlanga. I see McCrory giving some problems early with a bit of awkward style, and he'll want to win. But I see him and his natty body getting cut down by Berlanga, probably around round 10. But, I don't think I'm going to put any money on. Okay?